Good afternoon. This is Susan Hahn with Mohawk Industries. Thank you very much for joining Mohawk University's webinar this afternoon. Today's speaker is John Weller, VP of Marketing for FloorForce, one of Mohawk's preferred technology business partners. John brings 20 years of sales and marketing experience in the floor covering industry to FloorForce. During his career, he spent 15 years on the manufacturing side, 3 years in distribution, and 4 years in retail. John's vast knowledge of all sides of the industry, combined with spending the last 5 years in technology, have helped develop FloorForce into the leading technology company in the flooring industry. Today, John will do live demonstrations on Google and use the statistics from hundreds of flooring retailer websites to demonstrate why and how you too can improve your customer visits and brand loyalty, which should result in capturing your fair share of the floor covering market today. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to you, John.
Hey, thank you very much, Susan. Thanks, Mohawk, for the opportunity, and thanks, dealers, for taking the time to show up. And I think you'll find this presentation enlightening. And, you know, as we move into 2014, Google and the Internet has become the holy grail of retail. You know, if any of you guys shop at all for anything today, you know that. You know that whether you're looking for a lawnmower, you know, a pair of boots, a winter coat, that you basically type in what you're looking for, go on Google, and you start searching. And once you find the store that represents, you know, what you're looking for and shows a value or whatever is most important to you, that's generally where you're going to call or you're going to end up. So before I start this, I want to show you a quick little feature that we have here with the webinar. If you have any questions at all during the webinar, you can see this panel on your screen, and you simply can type in questions and send them, and we will take your questions and answer them at the end of the webinar. Okay? So as we begin this, I'm going to ask you guys to do one thing for me. Put yourselves into the shoes of today's consumer. Forget everything that you know about floor covering. Forget everything that you know about retailing, and just say, you know what, I'm gonna go and listen with an open mind, and think as a consumer today. If you'll do that for me, by the time this webinar is over, I'm going to make you an expert in internet marketing, and you're going to know everything that you need to do, and as far as where your website ranks and how it will actually perform. Without talking to anybody else other than listening to this webinar today. So the first thing that we're going to do is look at, you know, what goes on when you type in on Google hardwood flooring. Today's consumers are expecting instant answers. Okay, we live in an internet-connected world. Consumers are talking to each other via Yelp, Angie's List, and all different types of mechanisms that allow consumers to talk to each other. And Google is giving them at their fingertips all the knowledge they could possibly want. Okay? And the retailer that can supply the quickest and most thorough information on the product or service that the consumer is looking for will undoubtedly win the customer today. It's that, and it's plain and simple. Okay? It's no longer rocket science. A lot of people put a lot of thought into, you know, what do we need to do? Well, if you think about your own personal shopping experiences, take flooring out of it for a minute and think, if I'm looking for a black belt, it's not necessary that you read 800 articles about black belts, nor do you want to know where it was made generally, how it was made. What you really want to know is, does it look right? Does it have that silver buckle? Does it have that gold buckle? Is it wide? Is it thin? And where do I get it? Who has it closest to my house at the right price? And if they can answer those questions on the website, generally you're out on the phone or in your car and you're going to get that belt. That's how it is with everything. So don't overthink floor covering and think it's any different than buying a belt, than buying a pair of shoes, than buying a car. This is how consumers shop today, and it's not rocket science. Okay? So we're going to look at things. As Susan said, I'm going to use the internet. I'm not just going to talk about opinions and ideas. I'm going to show you and look at things. One of the things that our company has that no other company has is we have the analytics for managing 500 dealer floor covering retailer websites. And we know exactly what consumers are doing when they go onto these websites and what is working. So these are the successful retailers today that have been interacting with customers for years and years. And now what we're going to do is just go into any market, and I'm going to type in Dallas. So we're going to go what a consumer would do and type in carpet, Dallas. And again, this is assuming the consumer is just going to do a typical search with a keyword, okay? Carpet being the keyword, Dallas being the second keyword. Notice who's number one in this example, guys. This is really important. Empire Carpet is the fastest growing retailer in the floor covering business today. They have 15 carpets, 15 hardwoods, 15 tiles, 15 laminates. These guys are going into everyone's backyard and they're selling successful retail all day long, all across the United States. And they've gone from close to $70 million in sales to an estimated $1 billion in combined sales this year. Now, one of the things that's important to know, these guys have not changed their business model, not 1%. They are buying carpet the same way they were when they started the company. They're installing it the same way. They're selling it the same way. Not one thing has this company changed other than they figured out how to market on Google, and boy, have they. Okay? So they are now the fastest growing company with the largest voice, and if we go into almost any city in the United States, you're going to see that Empire has bought that top spot. So one of the things that we're talking about on this webinar is how do you drive traffic to your website, okay? That's not the only answer to grow your business today. Driving traffic to a website is really, really important, but it's not the most important thing. It's the second most important thing, because I will challenge you guys and say this as a consumer, and again with your consumer hats on, if you end up on a website that doesn't represent the product, that doesn't present the product that you're looking for or represent the type of company that you want to deal with, you're not going to buy from that company, regardless to where they show up on Google. So there's a lot of companies out there that buy pay-per-click advertising and pay Google a lot of money to be in these top spots, but they're not fast-growing companies. In fact, they're treading water. And the reason is there's two things you have to do when you're doing internet marketing. The first thing is you have to supply that consumer with the user experience that they are expecting. Okay, so if we go further down into the search and see who's showing up, here's Home Depot. And I'm going to use Home Depot right now as an example. And you guys, again, with your consumer hat on, let's pretend we're looking for hardwood floor covering, or we're looking for carpet, because I typed in carpet, so it's taking me to this page on Home Depot's website. I'm looking for carpet. In one click, I'm into a product catalog. I now know I'm looking for a loop, and I go into loop. And again, that's how easy it is. I know that I was looking for gray. I go into grays. And guys, whether you're looking for belts, like I said, whether you're looking for washing machines, whether you're looking for tires, this is the way you shop today. This is the way consumers have shopped for 10 years. This is a very basic expectation of today's consumers, and if you're not giving them this shopping experience, our statistics now show that over 90% of consumers will leave your website within 8 seconds if they don't see a product button and a clear path to looking at the exact product that they want to see. Not to say consumers today are looking for specific brands or even specific exact products with a SKU, but they are looking to know before they get on the phone or get in their car, do they have anything that represents at least closely what I'm looking for? And again, no matter where we go on the web, whether we're looking for furniture or whatever it is, this is the shopping experience that you've got to give these people. Okay? So let's go back and show you a couple more things that consumers are expecting today and things that you can do on your website to make the consumer likely to shop with you and engage that customer. Because again, having traffic to your website is not going to grow your business unless you have the right website with the right user experience, period. That is the end of the story. So you've got to start with that user experience, okay? So another thing that consumers are very, very keen on today are value propositions. And value propositions are represented here. As you see there's a Mohawk laminate on sale at $3.49. I can tell you that if we go to Pottery Barn, we go to Rugs Direct, we go to BMW, we go to any website today. Everyone wants to think that they are getting a value for what they're paying for, whether it's a luxury item or a discounted item. America loves a discount. So here's the user experience with a value proposition that you really want to look at on a website today. And again, think in different terms than you're thinking when you look at this. This is not just a banner ad. This is the way consumers shop. When you click on that banner ad on a good retail website, it will take you to those products, okay? And the product will be able to be blown up. Pricing is very important today. You know, we say if you're going to show pricing on your website, that's great. If you're leery of showing pricing on your website, at least show pricing for the value propositions in your store. Don't leave your website with no pricing or indication of price, because again, take your dealer hat off just for a moment and think clearly. If you're looking for a pair of boots, or you're looking for tires, or you're looking for a lawnmower, how many websites would you go to? If you've already been to Home Depot's website and saw the price on that lawnmower, you've already been on Sears' website and you saw prices on lawnmowers, even if it was just the sale items, and then you went to a third website and there were no prices, think about what you would do. It's very unlikely that you would even give that website another second and click back to a trusted website that you know that has pricing, that's not hiding anything from you, and you feel comfortable with. So showing prices on a website is extremely important. So here's another way that you can engage a customer, and we think is very important. I told you that the shop at home business is booming today. So a lot of websites have a way to add products to a cart. And I'm going to show you this website has the ability to put a product into actually a bedroom. You can go to the go to the project, see all the different products that have been put into the project, and you can request samples. Now this website gives you that user experience that is key and critical today in retail, which is getting that customer as fast as possible to at least a representation of the product that they're looking for or service. And secondly, now you've looked at what's going on in the industry, and you're saying, you know what, I've got to offer my people more than just Home Depot and Lumber Liquidators. So now you have the Shop at Home module. So again, these are things that the consumer could fill out. They put those things into a cart, and they can say brought to my home or ready at the showroom. Let's go back though and think about this from a different aspect. I'll challenge each of you on the phone here to say, if you had talked to, a rep at Mohawk and you had said, okay, we need to start moving more of our number one selling product. Okay, and let's just say your number one selling product is Desert Isle, this Mohawk product right here. I'm going to challenge you and say, if you bought rolls of Desert Isle, what is the time frame that it's going to take you for 500 consumers to see that you have inventory and see those samples on your showroom floor? And I know the answer because I was a rep for Mohawk for many years and built racks in a lot of stores. And I remember how many times the doorbell rang while I was building those racks. And I used to think to myself, man, it's going to be a long time before I make a lot of commission on this new product because the traffic isn't what I would hope it would be. Well, I can tell you this, the holy grail of marketing products today is your website. A typical website from our company gets 300 to 500 consumers a month on it. And if we stick a promotional banner on the front of a website like this, you're guaranteed 300 to 500 people are going to see that promotion of that product that you are putting on the front of that website. Now, that's a game changer for you and for your customer and for the rep that's selling you the product and for the manufacturer. For the first time, you can actually direct 500 consumers a month to the exact product that you know in your market is the best-selling product that you've got. And again, that user experience is going to take that consumer directly to that product. That is the user experience that they're expecting. That's the user experience you've got to have. And then remember, if your website's not equal to or better than your competition, you have very little chance of growing your business, and these other guys will keep taking market share. This is a user experience that has to be taken advantage of and being offered, or in most eyes of most consumers, they're not going to believe that you have everything or equal to those big companies, and they're going to end up at those big companies. And again, I can tell you, as being a Mohawk rep, one of the most discouraging things that ever used to happen to me was when my friends would ask me, hey, where should I buy my flooring? Can I buy direct from Mohawk from you? And I'd say, no, you can't buy direct from me. But you know what? Right down the street is a friend of mine who's a dealer, and he'll work out a deal with you. And 9 out of 10 times I'd walk into my friends' homes, and guess what? There would not be a Mohawk product on the floor. There would be a different product, and I would ask them, what'd you do? That's not a Mohawk product. And they'd say, you know what? My wife and I went on to the dealer's website that you gave us the number for. We went on the website. We couldn't find what we were looking for. My wife went on the Home Depot's website. She saw exactly something close. We drove down there. We had company coming, and we just went to Home Depot. I have heard that probably 100 times in my life when I work for Mohawk. So if my friends feel that it's easier to deal with those companies because of their website, you can imagine someone who's not getting a referral like that and what their perception is. So you have to have a user experience that's equal to or better than the box stores, or you really don't have a fighting chance today when it comes to websites. So what's another thing that we can do on a website? Put ourselves out there and engage customers first and get them out of the shopping mode. One of the things I want to say about websites, guys, is it's not about someone staying on your website for an hour, okay? It's about taking someone off your website. Remember that. Your website is not a tool to have people stay on for an hour and a half and look through every single sample you have, okay? The guys who are winning today have 15 carpets, 15 tiles, 15 laminates, 15 SKUs of each product category. It's not about the number of products today. It's about engaging customers first. So one of the things that we do that we recommend is that you put live chat on your website, okay? This is a great tool today that consumers are getting very comfortable with. And what's neat about live chat is it can be proactive. So when someone is on your website and they're clicking around and they're into in-stock hardwood, for instance, okay, and they're looking at your in-stock products, the neat thing about this is you can see that through a live chat module on your side. It'll show you consumer number 1 from this zip code is on the website, and they're looking through your in-stock hardwood. And it will allow you to actually press and say, hey, consumer number 1, can I help you? And you're now engaging a customer on your website exactly as if they're in your store. That is very important, guys, to remember. Engaging customers and pulling them out of the shopping cycle is the key to success in retail today, not to keep them on your website for 10 minutes looking through products, okay? So another thing that is really important today is customer reviews. Again, customers are talking to each other like never before. What we call this is a customer revolution that we're in the middle of. Customers are empowered today. Google has empowered them. Yelp has empowered them. Facebook has empowered them. Social media. Consumers are now talking to each other like never before. And they're talking to companies and talking to companies on a platform that everyone can read. So it's very, very important that you take advantage of all these tools. A lot of people look at these as cumbersome things that they have to figure out, man, now I've got to worry about Facebook, and I got to worry about Google Plus, and Google Maps, and Yelp. Well, look at it a little bit differently than that. As people are sitting around in showrooms today wondering where all the customers are, you don't really have to look that hard. They're on Facebook. They're on Yelp. They're on Google Chat. They're on all of these things. Get onto these things and engage the people that are on there and learn how to do that, because it's actually easier today to acquire a customer than it ever was before. Okay? So now we're going to look at some other things. We've looked at engagement tools, okay? We've talked about having that user experience where the consumer can click basically into a product category, and look at a product like glass tile and give them that user experience. That's key. The second thing we've looked at is where they can go in through a value proposition. Again, whether it's an in-stock hardwood banner or laminate banner or whatever it might be, they can go in this way. These are 2 user experiences that you have to have. These are not optional. Customer reviews are extremely important. Live chat is another engagement tool. All of these things are going to help you build that user experience on your website and engage and pull people out of the shopping experience and into a phone call or a visit to your store. So now we're going to go back to Google, and I want to show you a couple things on Google. How do we get traffic to the website? Okay, so let's go back to that search. We're going to go, this time we'll change it up a little bit and go carpet, and we'll do Durham, North Carolina, okay? Now, what's interesting, guys, what do you see again? Empire Carpet. I can tell you that I go all over this country every single day looking at websites with dealers and looking at what's going on in their market, and this is what you're going to see in almost every single market at a given time during the day. And again, just remember, that's the only thing these guys change in their entire business model. So what should be very encouraging to you people on this phone call, unless you're Home Depot, Empire, or Lowe's, is if we can get your website in the same visibility as these and get that user experience equal to or better than these guys, you're going to beat them every single time. Okay? You've got better service. You've got more professional salespeople, yourself included. You've got a better installation method. And then with the right technology, you've got a better website. And you're these guys' neighbors. Okay? You built the business. You know you can do a better job than Empire or Home Depot or Lowe's. Only thing that we have to do is get you guys to understand that user experience is key and get you that traffic that these guys are getting. Because if I can get each and every one of you on the same phone call where they just left this website and now they go to yours and make a phone call to your company, you're going to win. You're going to win more times than you're going to lose, and you're going to significantly grow your business. Okay? So let's talk about pay-per-click advertising and talk about Google just a little bit. Again, if you need any information on any of this, we'll be available after to take questions, and then we could also do a consultation with you later on. But here's how pay-per-click advertising works. This yellow area that you're looking up here is paid advertising, okay? So Google has a place where you can bid on placement on the internet. So these guys have all bid for this placement, and this is by the moment and by the keyword. So we type in Durham, North Carolina, carpet, you see Empire, Frazee, and Triangle are up here. If I just change this just a little bit, and we type in hardwood, Durham, North Carolina, let's see how that changes. And again, Empire is the only one now paying for that top spot. But it did change. You saw the other two guys disappear. Let's type in tile, Durham, North Carolina, and see what goes on. So now you got Frazee as number one, Tile Outlets, Carpets Plus, and we come over here and we got Bob's Carpet, Glass Tile Store, and so on and so on. So you can see as that changes per keyword. Right now, we have mined over 150,000 keywords at our company, FloorForce, that are driving people to websites. And that's what's going on. You're competing with customers. You're competing with retailers that are spending millions of dollars and have a whole staff that are trying to figure out, when's the best time to buy these ads. So if you're going to get into internet marketing, into pay-per-click advertising, you definitely want a partner. You don't want to do this on your own because there is a major science to it. Okay. So again, this is paid for advertising, and over here is paid for advertising. These are the places that you get instant gratification. Now, one of the things I hear from dealers all the time is, well, of course, they're growing at that rate. They have millions of dollars. I can never compete with them. I don't even want to talk about it. Well, that is 100% not true. Okay? The beautiful thing about Google is it has completely leveled the playing field. It has not made it harder. It's made it easier for a small independent flooring retailer to get their piece of the pie. Because guess what, guys? That price right there to own that spot only costs you somewhere in the neighborhood of $3 per customer, and the only time you pay is when they click. Okay? You set your own budget. Just because these guys have millions of dollars doesn't mean they're spending it in Durham, North Carolina. And just because they're spending money in Durham, North Carolina doesn't mean it's not possible for you to get your piece of the pie and show up in this area for as little as, a couple $100 a month. You just have to have a partner who understands how to do this for you and can explain this to you thoroughly. But you set your own budget. You no longer have to go to Google and come to an internet partner and go, okay, I have $10,000. I'm finally ready to advertise on Google. You can get onto Google and advertise for as little as $100 or as little as $10 if you really wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend that. But you really can set your budget. Google is the juggernaut of advertising, worth over $250 billion today. So all I want to say is the playing field is finally level. You build the right website with the right user experience, and you learn how to get yourself on Google correctly positioned, and you can definitely take your piece of the pie and take market share. So we're going to go back now. I'm just going to recover a couple of the things that we went over before, and again, just kind of cover a couple of the things that we talked about. Key factors to winning today's consumer: value, convenience, and trust. Again, show that value proposition. Convenience, making it very convenient for that customer, and reviews. Again, another thing is getting reviews, having things like this where you actually hand out things to your clients and they can put in a code and leave a review on your website and get something for doing that, okay, like a Starbucks gift card. Share it, live chat, reviews, Facebook, all ways to engage customers. Live chat being a really key thing. And again, this is basically how it works. The consumer's on your website asking specific questions, and you actually have an employee who's either on a computer or it's forwarded to the phone who can now chat back and forth with that customer. Having programs, which we also have, to help consumers put things on Facebook, reviews on Facebook. And remember one thing, guys, it's not quantity, it's quality, okay? The most highly successful retailers in marketing today are not loading their websites with 9 million SKUs of products. Anyone who understands internet marketing understands the goal of a website is not to have them look through 99 beige carpets. If you do that, it's almost guaranteed you will lose that customer. You want to get them to interesting value propositions or interesting carpets for the market you're going after, whether that be wool patterns or whether that be in-stock carpet or whatever it is, the niche that you're going after. You want to get them to that product as fast as possible, but don't confuse them when they get there with a lot of redundancy. And you have about 7 seconds to convince that customer that you have what they're looking for, or they will move to the next site. So your goal is to get them on and get them off the internet and on the phone and engaging you on the phone or in your store. Here's something that maybe looked a little crazy to a lot of people. This is a very interesting graph here. I want you to see, this is the landing page of a website, okay? And this is basically an aggregated where we've taken about 300 or 400 websites that we manage for flooring retailers, and we just look at the interaction that consumers have with the website. And what's really telling here is if you look, 600 out of 659 consumers, 112,000 went to products, 33,000 went to request a consultation, another 32,000 went to a different product page. Now you're up to about 144,000 on sale products. So now again, products will lump that in. 160,000 shop for rugs. So again, put that back into products. So now you're up to 180,000. So as you can see, of the majority of people that stay on the website. Understand there's always a group of people that drop off of a website. It's generally about 40% of traffic will just drop off. But of the ones that stay on, what we realize is it's almost 50% of those that stay on go right into products, okay? And then of those 50 that go into products, they will also move off of products and into other parts of the website. Now, one of the things that you see here is without a product catalog and without the right user experience, a very, very high number of these consumers will drop right off your website.
Basically, what this shows is that the 90% of consumers who are shopping online today, they will go to a website before they will ever phone or go to visit a showroom. And what this graph shows you is that without that product catalog and that user experience that the consumer is used to getting and expects, you have very little chance today of bringing that consumer to a phone call or to a store. So if you're not supplying a product catalog and giving that user experience, it's very, very important that you do that and do it immediately. Otherwise, most consumers will not consider your company in the retail business. And without that website moving customers into your showroom, you will be living off the crumbs of the retailers who are supplying the right user experience to the consumer today. Let the world know what's in your warehouse and what's your inventory. Again, talking about what I touched on before, unless you put these products on your website or you're spending thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on newspaper and TV, which I hope you're not, because that is no longer an effective way of advertising today. If you're looking at dollar for dollar, Google has risen to the top of the most effective and efficient way and cost-effective way to advertise today. And what I want to show you, and what I want to just hit upon one more time, you can put these products that you have in stock or that are very important to your business in front of 500 consumers a month by putting them on front of your website. By buying that inventory and hoping people walk in your store, it could take you 2 years before you tell all those people that you have the same amount of people that you have that inventory. So again, this should be the user experience that your advertising online does. If it is not this, I implore you, please hang up this phone and figure out how to get that user experience on your website. Because again, a website without this, in the eyes of most consumers, isn't a website at all. Okay, and it has no value to someone. You can imagine, again, with your consumer hat on, if you just saw exactly what you wanted, which is this patterned carpet on Home Depot and Lowe's website, and then you went to the local guy just to see if he had it, and he did not have it, more than likely you're not going to call him because you already know where it is, and time is of the essence today. Everyone's working hard, and everyone's used to instant gratification, so you're probably not going to get that phone call without this user experience. Again, I want to thank you all for attending. Now I want to open up the I want to open it up for questions, and if anyone has any, just type into the control panel that you see on your screen, and I would be very happy to answer any questions that you have. And if you need further things, my contact information is here. I'd be happy to consult with any of you. I have you talk to some of our internet gurus about marketing. You can talk to myself about retail marketing. But feel free to contact me or ask questions now. Thank you. Okay, so the first question is, how are customers buying flooring online? That question is from Mark. Well, Mark, here's the answer to the question. The fact of the matter is there is a small number of consumers that will buy products online. Okay, these are people that will go into a store and then frantically try to go onto Google and try to find that product and see if they can't get the product for as cheap as possible. It's a small segment of the industry. A lot of retailers think it's a large segment of the industry, and I look at those retailers' websites, and I can say that if your website has no value to it, meaning it has no product catalog, it has no value propositions, it doesn't talk about your service, it doesn't tell them why they would buy from you versus anybody else, it doesn't have live chat, if it has no value other than you say, I'm a flooring store and here's my phone number, the only consumer that's going to probably pay too much attention to you is that consumer who's just looking for a price. So you might attract a lot of phone calls saying, hey, do you have XYZ SKU in this color? And you know, that's a customer in most scenarios. Most retailers won't really pursue that customer. And they may give them a price. But I can tell you that the lumber liquidators of the world and the empires of the world and the guys that are making really big profits, they wouldn't spend 1 minute with a customer like that, because there's a lot of customers today that want the service, that want to deal with someone knowledgeable. They're not just looking for a deal, and they understand that having something installed in their house is a tricky proposition, and you definitely don't want to have just some guy show up. So how do people do it? There are websites like Lumber Liquidators and Home Depot that would allow you to buy products online. I can tell you from listening to earnings report calls at Lumber Liquidators, they've actually had a decline in online purchases, because I think a lot of customers are now talking. You know, the experience of having an 18-wheeler show up at your house and asking who's going to unload the wood in the pouring rain, or having that installer who is a third party and then having to deal with them direct without having the white glove experience of a typical flooring retailer, that word gets out, and you can go and you can see that most consumers are starting to gravitate against that. All right, so we got a lot of good questions coming in. Alex asked, what is the best way to drive traffic to your website? Alex, it depends on every single time I answer that, it's a little bit different, okay? So when you say the best, it depends on your business, depends on what your niche is, it depends on your budget, depends on how many stores you have. If you want instant gratification, okay, pay-per-click advertising is second to none. Pay-per-click advertising allows you to buy those spots on Google. And again, we can go back and look at Google. Pay-per-click advertising allows you to buy these spots, okay? And again, if someone types in, you say, hey, John, I want to dominate carpet in Durham, North Carolina, and we help you manage to get these spots here or these spots here, you're guaranteed you're going to get traffic to your website and to your business and making phone calls. And again, until someone actually clicks on these ads, you've paid nothing. So you're getting branding, and you're also getting the traffic when someone clicks on the website. So the best way, I would say, is a combined pay-per-click advertising campaign with some organic. Remember, Google ranks your website not just on what you do on that website alone. They look at your presence on the web as an entire whole. So they're going to say, what are they doing in social media? What are they doing in the directories? What are they doing in all these areas to brand themselves? And the company that is doing the most collectively is going to move up. So the fastest way, Alex, is pay-per-click, but you should have a very comprehensive internet marketing strategy, and you need a partner. And again, FloorForce is a great partner. Mohawk also has programs in place to help you with internet marketing. So I would start with contacting, an internet company like FloorForce and get some help. Because the one thing I can tell you, a lot of guys think that, hey, I want the $200 package or the $300 package. Anyone who's selling $100 or $200 or $300 packages and says this is going to cure your internet marketing needs, that's the same exact thing as you pulling up to a gas station with smoke coming out of the back of your car and saying, hey, how much is it going to cost to fix this car? And without picking up the hood, the mechanic goes, do you want the $100 fix, the $200 fix, or the $300 fix? Anyone who's trying to solve a custom problem with answers like that, I can promise you probably isn't that knowledgeable or isn't going to solve your problem. Okay, so Gordon's asking, I'm very interested in this program. How do I get started? I have a website that doesn't have much value. I need help now, but I can't, but can I afford it? Well, Gordon, that's a good question. Here's what I will say to anyone that's on this phone call and anyone who's in that situation. As we're having this phone conversation, Gordon, just to be real, understand that there are people making decisions right now about the future of your business, whether they're going to buy from Gordon or they're going to buy from somebody else. And the bottom line is you've got to have this user experience. So I can tell you that it's very economical. We have dealers with one person running the company who are on our platform, and we have companies with 17 stores on our platform. We do have an answer for all size companies, and we'd be happy to talk to you. So Gordon, if you leave your information, we will contact you and see if we can help you out. Susan asked, I noticed the shop at home icon on website examples. How does that work? So let me go and show you, Susan, how shop at home should work on a website if they have that functionality. So I'm going to take you to a FloorForce website example. And again, here's how it works. So when we go into a product catalog, we'll go into the hardwood section. Okay, and you can see over here it says shop at home. Websites that have that functionality, you can actually hit the shop at home button. It should explain to your customer how that works. And it basically shows you how you can put carpets into a cart, add them to a project, select the room, and save your project. So again, let's just run through this real quickly and show you one time where this works. I've been sticking products in carts all day, so there should be a lot of products in this cart because I am at a convention right now in Florida with the Mohawk group. So again, we'll look at a product and say the customer really, really likes this orange mosaic. She's going to look at it first close up. She can look at it like this, but most importantly, she can add this to her project. She's going to use this in the bathroom. She hits save. She can go to the project. Now you're going to see that orange dowel towel that I just put into the cart, all the other products I put in, and request samples. And now that consumer can fill this form out, and she's doing a shop at home appointment with your company if she just hits brought to my home and fills this form out. Susan, that's how shop at home should work if it's a function that you have on your website. FloorForce definitely offers that on all of their websites that they give to customers. So do we have any more questions? Okay, I don't see any more coming in. Anybody else? Guys, thank you very much for your time. Again, this is John Weller with FloorForce, and I would be glad to speak to any of you one-on-one if you'd like to contact me. My information's up on the screen. And again, thanks for taking the time. I hope it was informative, and would like to help you in any way that we can. Thanks again. Thank you, Mohawk.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. We really appreciate this information. And for everybody listening, this has been recorded, and it will be posted on Mohawk University for you to access later if somebody else you'd like to hear it. And again, we look forward to having you on back for our next monthly webinar. It's always on the second Tuesday of each month. Thanks again. Have a great day.
Thanks, Susan.